Gaming is in a sad state, whether we like to admit it or not. It's all about making money now. It's affecting even our beloved pre-existing franchises now. I've had my heart crushed once or twice already, but with Halo, I think the world is starting to see it. One of the biggest games that's just been completely and utterly converted into a money-making machine. And it's sad, really. And now we're seeing Rumbleverse being closed off, a game that came out not long ago, further just showing it's all about games as a service. Whether you liked Rumbleverse or not, it was a game that had an idea, it came out, not everybody loved it, but a lot of people did, and it just completely died. It wasn't something that everybody played every day, so how would you feel if a game that you utterly loved, but just didn't play every single day or spend a lot of money on the store, was just completely canned a couple months after? It's no longer about attracting people to the game and wanting them to own the game. It's about how much they're going to spend daily. And it's getting pretty ridiculous now. Gaming has been completely twisted from its original purpose. Nowadays it's all about getting people to play your game every day and spend a little bit of money on it so it can just be a rolling money making machine. That's what a lot of companies want. A lot of companies want their Fortnite, and whether you like to admit it or not, Fortnite is to blame just because it makes so much damn money. That's what it's becoming about for everybody. All these other game companies and publishers are looking at Fortnite like, wow, that is just a cash flow machine. And I say that, but you know, cash flow is one thing that can be good for a lot of companies. It can help expansion and growth and more creative endeavors. But I feel like when you prioritize that over creativity and the gamer's needs, it just gets a little ridiculous. Let's talk about Halo. Halo Infinite came out. The store was ridiculous. People were getting charged $7 for colors, which is the most ridiculous thing because that was always free. We never even had to earn it. And then all the customization was locked with armor cores anyway, so whether you bought or just wanted to earn things over time, it was going to be a huge pain in the ass. So let's just talk about it like it is. Microsoft wants to own everything. They want to own Activision, they want to own their own engine, they want their own cash money machine. And some people may think that's strictly for greed, but a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B when it comes to creativity, because it can fund a lot of endeavors, it can fund a lot of games later on if they do make a hit and it really makes a lot of money, but they can't expect gamers to just take the hit and just throw money at something that's not worth it. Halo Infinite on development just crashed and burned many different times. They've alluded to it, they've borderline just said it, they were making a game that just was not working with the engine and everything just kept falling apart. But also, in addition to that, it seemed like the story kept falling apart as well, which I believe they've even alluded to also, that they have cut out entire portions of what was supposed to be Infinite's story because they just could not get everything to come together in the engine. The open world was fun and it was a great idea, and I feel like if they could have seen their vision through, it could have been something incredible. Trying to build an engine and make a game at the same time, it's terrible, and they kept losing people that were their engineers, the people making the engine, so they didn't have that knowledge that was accrued from them making the engine anymore, so they were just trying to fly through it as quick as they could for Microsoft, and it just wasn't coming together. Joe Staten gets brought on, they're able to at least get a linear path to something that they can put out. Everybody was expecting some campaign DLC, obviously all those plans have been scrapped now, which is very sad to say, but I feel like there was something 343 had cooking in there that would have been a very fun experience through and through. The game was launched, minimal maps, minimal modes. The devs, I was even reading articles, were saying that just the engine alone couldn't support a whole lot of playlists at once. There was some technical debt behind the scenes that they had to deal with. Along with desync and a lot of bugs, I still feel like the Halo Infinite competitive experience is about 50% of what it should be, but with the game as a whole being around 70%, that 25% is basically all the multiplayer and some of the campaign that I'm talking about. Forge is here. Forge is great. You know, custom game browser, that's great. I love it. It's just the game has been kneecapped now because people don't care anymore, which is pretty sad. I feel like if the story was at least completed in some way, we would have had something really fun there, and if we would have got all the features at launch. I feel like the multiplayer is severely lacking in map and mode variety. I feel like there are a lot of maps that just feel the same. I feel like Halo did have a lot more variety than just that. The sad part about the whole Halo experience is, I think no matter what happens now with the game, people are uninterested. A lot of the community is still there and there's a lot of fun to be had. I feel like if a lot of the community could have seen Forge and played in the customs browser within the first month, you would have retained a lot of people. Speaking to the more competitive side and you know, just the social multiplayer side. Customization just sucks. It's terrible. No cross-core is terrible. I know that they want to monetize something, but there's better ways to do it than that. I feel like a lot of the armors are kind of just Reach inspired. So I'm kind of getting a lot of Reach 2.0 vibes when it comes to the armor, at least, especially because I'm just locked down to cores and it's just, there's no variety there. The whole bionic limb thing for me, that's kind of cool, but I just don't need it, honestly. I would have rather just had cross core. A lot of leaks have come out and said that the 343 is making about 20 maps for the game now, along with a bunch of other add-ins to Forge and things like that. Would 20 maps do it? Would cross core do it? Do you want to come back, honestly? And at this point, Microsoft is already working on Tatanka with certain affinity, whatever that may be. It's going to be a battle royale. I feel like they're going to bring it kind of to a warzone type feel where you got a bunch of different modes and some that are barely even battle royale at certain points. I feel like whatever lessons learned from Halo Infinite as far as going forward and what they're going to change, they're going to implement that into Tatanka. I feel like this is just going to be the early access version of that at this point, which is sad to say. They're going to try to make Tatanka Halo's new main stage for whatever they want it to be. I would really like to see the community come back to Infinite, at least for Forge, because it's sad that we have all these amazing tools and not enough minds or people to enjoy them. This is just one of the franchises I love destroyed by a studio just wanting to have their thing that's going to provide them that cash flow going forward. They do have mouths to feed in the studio, they got to pay people, and making new projects and doing creative things is not cheap. But Microsoft does want to own everything that they can right now and just bring it all into them, which is ironic now because they're laying off employees left and right. A lot of people do see the greed in the industry, and they're right. They're absolutely right. But also, some of that cash flow does help. Look what Epic's done with Fortnite. They're able to afford licensing characters left and right, putting out new things left and right. And every publisher wants that. They want to be able to just throw money at whatever they want to, but none of them are willing to take the L's and own up to it. No Man's Sky did a whole turnaround, but games are being shut down left and right because they're just not performing the way that they need to be. And that's bad for that company's bottom line, and it just becomes a money pit after a while, when they wanted it to be their fountain of youth, essentially. Another example would be Babylon's Fall, that's being shut down alongside Rumbleverse, the same guys that brought you this, but then brought you this.
I'll admit, I'm ass.
Because Amazon wanted their live service game. And that would have brought Platinum a lot of money too. Because Platinum does need to get some cash flow going on. They're a company that's going down, especially after Bayonetta 3 was not received well. On the bright side though, there are still companies that are putting out good games. A lot of those employees from Platinum went on to go work at a studio who brought you HiFi Rush. It's an amazing game. You can get it on Game Pass right now. You can play it with Cloud Game or you can buy it. I suggest you buy it. Support the studio. They put out a full package, no marketing, it just dropped that day. And it's a fun game. It's great. Everything's there. It's got style. It's creative. It plays a lot like DMC. And let me tell you, it's a whole package. And that's just something that we don't see much anymore. Anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Gaming is in a sad state right now, and I hate to see it. But recognize the good studios putting out good work. Even 343 when they're putting in Forge. I wouldn't spend no money on the Microsoft store, but I'd like to see those player numbers go up. Because that's what we want to see. We want to see when the developer's work is actually received well. That's what we want. We don't want the companies that are coming in with the stores and just trying to harvest our money for minimal gameplay, minimal customization, minimal anything. Just ripping things out of the game for money when we have other companies out there that are delivering a full package and aren't going to shut the game down in fucking 3 months if they don't make the money that they need to. Thank you for watching again. Like and subscribe if you want to. Talk to y'all later.